Hi, everyone. It looks like it is right on time. We're so excited to get started here. If you're still hopping on, you'll want to connect. You should have been able to already connect. It looks like everybody is good to go on here. And you're already muted, so you don't have to worry about doing anything there. I do want to mention that there's a chat box provided. So if you have any technical difficulties, feel free to let us know by clicking on that little thought bubble icon towards the top, and there you can ask any questions, and then you can also let us know if you're having trouble hearing or anything. But first, let's get started. First, thank you so much for coming and making time out of your busy schedule to join us here. We'll share about Travefy and then specializing in Disney, how you can use that and use Travefy to help. We also have Stephen here, who's owner of Extra Magic Trips. Who is, I like to call, pretty much the Travefy Disney guru, and he's going to share all of his stuff as well. So Stephen, can you hear everything okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect, awesome. Well, what we'll do here is I'm first going to start off and just kind of kick it off and let you know, what is Travefy, and just kind of walk it through. And then we're going to get into the really fun part of, he'll walk you through and show you how he does everything for his clients. So I'm going to switch my screen here so we can dive right in. So first, what I want to do, so if you are new to Travefy, if you are not very sure what Travefy is, what it is in a nutshell is it is an itinerary and quote builder. It's a very easy way to quickly manage and create client itineraries, whether it's a completed itinerary or if it's just a quote. You just want to put something together really quick. It's really great for that as well. The other great thing is there's multiple different options of sharing the itinerary via a PDF. We have a mobile app. There's also a URL shareable itinerary, and we will walk through all of those here today. And so first, I just wanted to quickly show you an example of an itinerary. Now, apologies, this isn't a Disney one, but I just quickly was like, oh, I forgot I needed to pull one of these up. So here's a good example of kind of what one can look completed. So going in what to kind of expect of what we're really building here. So what I'm going to do first is I just want to quickly show you what inside. So let's look under the hood real quick. This is a Travefy account. So this is when you first sign up. This is where you're logging in and you're viewing this dashboard here. So this is where you'll be able to see, all of your trips and quotes, things like that. You'll also be prompted to fill out a profile. And every itinerary that you build has your logo and it's branded. And that's how we brand it, is via this profile right here. So that's a really nice thing about that as well. Now, if I jump into a trip here, and I won't get too far, so I'll let Stephen do the more, because his is going to be a lot more focused for Disney. But here's kind of what it looks like for a blank itinerary or quote that you're building. And of course, there's multiple different ways to add events, whether you're adding it via our email import tool. So if you have any booking confirmations from, the hotel or the supplier or the vendor, you can actually forward those in. It's very simple. You just take this email address that's right down here, and you can also find it in your trip details. You can send it in that way. So that's a really quick and easy way for us to grab information, put it into your itinerary. You can also quickly add things like flights and cruises, just really simple, just by going to new event, and you can look up a flight. So you can just quickly add it in here. So I could, as easy as 1, 2, 3 here, just add this information. That's the flight I'm looking for. I add it to my itinerary, and bam, it's in there. And it's even going to Orlando, which is the perfect place. Now, the other cool thing is also cruises. If you ever deal with the Disney cruises, we have a really cool tool for you to use. All you have to do is you can look it up by going to new event, cruise. You can type in the cruise here, and let's look for Wonder. It's 7-night Alaska Inside Passage cruise. You're just going to add to your itinerary and just wait for this. This is the exciting part. It's going to add all of your ports of call in here. It's just so easy. You have all this information quickly in here. And then that's where you can go in afterwards, and then you can begin adding events and all information like that. So now talking about events, I want to hand it on over. I'm going to switch the presentation role over here. and you will be able to see Stephen's screen. And then he's going to walk you through how he does everything. So take it away. Oh, I think you might be muted.
Indeed, I was. Can you hear me now?
Oh, there you go. Yep, can hear you good.
My dog was barking in the background. I didn't want you all to have to hear that. So as Stephanie said, my name is Stephen Giuliano. I am the owner, president, lead vacation planner, chief client wrangler, and all other duties as assigned here at Extra Magic Trips. We are a vacation planning agency, much like most of you work with, that specializes in Disney trips. I've been using Travefy for, gosh, I want to say about a year and a half now. It was shortly after they launched their pro version for travel professionals. And I got on board and have just been absolutely in love ever since. And I know a lot of people in the Facebook groups that I'm in always talk and ask questions about Travefy. So I figured I'd team up with Stephanie, see if we could get a little webinar off the ground to really connect with you guys and let you know how I'm using it to really service my Disney clients. Best part is, thanks to you guys attending the webinar, if you're interested in signing up afterwards, you can save 10% off on your annual plan and 10% off for 6 months on your monthly plan by using my promo code right here. This is a referral code, so this will give me some credit as well. You can also visit, after the webinar, you can visit extramagictrips.com/Travefy. And that's where we'll have a downloadable PDF of the itinerary that I'm going to be showing you guys today, as well as a link to the web version, so you can really get a hands-on feel for what your clients will see and do using the Travefy product. And again, we'll have that promotion code available there for you guys as well. So jumping in, I know Stephanie just showed you a quick overview, but I'm going to show you a little template that I created here for a Disney cruise as well as a trip to Disney World. So this is a kind of family going on a dream vacation here. We have people starting out going on a Disney cruise and then ending over at Walt Disney World. So using Travefy's import tools, you can see that I pulled in the flight information here, just like Stephanie showed you. But then I went ahead and customized it further. So this is where I dropped in information on traveling to the port. They were using private transfers, not the Disney transfers. So here I provided a little bit of information on how to do that. And then some information on their cruise here. So the next 3 days, they went on their cruise. They did not have any port adventures or activities planned. But if they did, I could have most certainly easily dropped that information in here for them to take a look at. Now, once we get into the Disney World stuff is where you'll see I really started to customize things. So, okay, so they get off their boat here, then they travel to Boardwalk for their reservation. So you can see I put in their confirmation number here, and then provided some information on they would be traveling to Magic Kingdom. I went ahead and popped in park hours and loaded in all 3 of their fast passes for that day, as well as some other information. So these people had Pirates League reservations going on, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. They had dinner at Be Our Guest. There's some more fast passes here. And then, this is a little out of order. I apologize. That should have been up here front, but you can easily rearrange everything by just dragging and dropping here once you're in Travefy. Now, how do I do this? Everyone's probably looking at this saying like, wow, this looks great, but it looks like it'll take a lot of work. Well, really not so much. So what I did is in my account here, I created this template family. And all this is just a completely empty template that I use for each of my guests. So you'll see the basic template just doesn't have any dates or anything attached to it. Day 1 has information pre in here for depart for your hotel. Then day 2, Disney's, these are all placeholder things. Every day is personalized for traveling to a park and 3 fast passes. So what I do when I'm starting to work on a new itinerary is I come here and I just duplicate, copy this existing template that I have. So I'll copy that over. I'll jump into my new version here and I'll edit it. I can come into here, change the name, and we can get started. So then I'll go ahead and set the start date. People are checking in next Wednesday. Then I could go ahead and fill in a price here. use Travefy for doing itineraries after booking, but I have used notes for extended, considering a multi-part trip or large family trip where you might have people staying in different places. But you can go ahead and put in the price here if you're using this for a quote. And then this description is, again, something that I just have in the template. So I'll go ahead and save my changes here. And this is where I can now start building in my information. So let's say these clients are staying at Polynesian. And then if I go down here to adding into places, when I to type it in, you'll see these places coming up. Now, I did go in and build in all of these places that are inside the theme parks myself. I found that the Travefy information, it's very extensive. It's great for doing other locations. But I found that some of the information as far as the attractions and things inside the theme park can be a little unreliable. So I went ahead and built this separately in my library, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. But so then I'll hit done editing here, and you'll see it goes ahead and just fills that in right there. Then maybe they're traveling over to Magic Kingdom. And the park hours that day, let's say they're open 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. And again, I'm just going to fill in Magic Kingdom Park. So I would just go down the list and add Fast Pass reservations here. You can also add dining reservations. This is one thing that I absolutely love because the Travefy team has been absolutely fantastic to work with. The entire time that I had this, one day I reached out to Stephanie and I said, you know, I do a lot of dining reservations for my guests, and I really wish that there was a way to have a little fork and knife icon here to really differentiate them from just using the calendar icon there. And about a week or so later, she emailed me back and said, all right, you're all set. We added the food and drink subcategory there, which is fantastic. So now I can add in, let's say, a dinner reservation at 7 p.m. And they're going to be eating at Skipper Canteen. And just like that, it goes ahead and adds it, and it'll keep it all in order. So even if they have a Fast Pass, say, later in the day at 8 p.m. at Space Mountain, just by changing that time on there, as soon as I hit done editing, you'll see that that now jumps down to the bottom. You can go ahead and load in any information, any tips, tricks that you would provide to your clients. I know that's what I do. I definitely build up the itinerary with a ton of information, tell them how to get from point A to point B, give my favorite tips and tricks, favorite viewing locations for fireworks, all things like that. Those can be preloaded in here, and then they can be saved as events, which is fantastic. So I can go ahead and I can save something as an event. For example, if a client is doing a Disney and Universal package, say on Thursday, they're going to be going to Universal. I have Travel to Universal Resort saved here as a saved event. All I have to do is drag that over into my itinerary here, and you'll see that that pre-fills with the information that I saved. Now, this is just a template, so I need to go in and replace the name and replace the confirmation number here and then update the park hours. But gives you an idea of just how easy it is to really save things as a template and drag and drop them in. You can also pull up saved content. Now, for me, this is all of the different Disney resorts, all the different Disney restaurants, everything I have built in here. And again, you can get to it to add it in how I did earlier by clicking on the pencil here. Or if they do have a Fast Pass at 1 o'clock, say they're meeting Rapunzel at 1 o'clock, I can just drag that right into here, just like that, one step, now it's in there. Creating these events and stuff in your content library is pretty easy too. So you just click on Content Library at the top, and then you can create new content here. And now for me, what I generally do is I'll type in the name. I will drag over the image from the Disney website and then provide a link to the website as well as an address or phone number if required. I don't put in an address or a phone number for the dining locations, but if we go down to one of the hotels here, you'll see I do include address, phone number, everything that the client would need to potentially get in touch with that resort in my absence here. And then all of that information, you enter this once, and then it is automatically saved in your library for future use. One of the coolest things that I love is being able to share with a team. So since I'm the owner of Extra Magic Trips, some of my agents have access to Travefy as well. So they can log into their own Travefy account, but they can also see all of this information that I preloaded here, both for contents I'm sorry, both for content and events. So they can click in here. They can use the information that's preloaded so that they don't have to go through and kind of recreate the wheel every time with adding new attractions as they come out, new hotels as they're built, keeping up with hotel name changes, things like that. That's all on me to update for everyone in my agency. Then best part is once we have our itinerary ready to go to send to the client, there's two main ways that you can do it. There's actually three. I'm going to have Stephanie touch on the third one. But the two main ways that I use are saving it as a PDF, which you can then print and mail. And I do this with older clients who might not be quite as technically savvy. It makes wonderfully branded PDFs here. You can see this is exactly how it spits out of Travefy. I didn't make any changes to it here. It's pulling in that same cover photo that we used in the event, all of the information, gives a fantastic summary page here. And then it goes down through and outlines all of the plans for every day of the trip. All the information that we put in there, confirmation numbers, everything like that is all saved here in the PDF. Other way you can do it is by sharing a web link. So Travefy will send a really nice email to your client. You provide the email address. They'll send an email. Don't worry, they're not going to follow up with your clients beyond just sending that email. Your client gets the email, they click on this link, and it takes them right here. Best part about this is, as we all know with Disney, a lot of times the Disney app can be less than reliable. I know I had some people who were traveling last week when they had the big My Disney Experience outage and their app wasn't pulling in any of their times for their fast passes or dining reservations or anything like that. But my clients all had their Travefy itinerary there on their phone. They were able to tap into here and see all of their plans right here. So it's a fantastic backup. And I got some really great feedback from my clients that were traveling just for having this available. Because like I said, we all know how unreliable some of the Disney systems can be on from time to time. So it's always nice to have a backup that you know isn't going anywhere. Paper is great. Electronic is fantastic. They can just have it in the palm of their hand. And this is completely responsive too. So if we have a smaller screen here, if we're on mobile, it shrinks right down perfectly just like that. One of the new things that Travefy added recently is this new trip information and documents section. So if I had a client who's going completely digital, I'm not sending any paper documents to, I can come in here and I can attach documents, PDF documents right from my computer. So let's say they're staying at Art of Animation and I wanted to send them this resort map. I can upload that here. I can just give a description of what it is here and done. And then when they come onto their itinerary, which all of this live updates, which is really nice, you'll now see something. Oh, it's supposed to live update. What did I do wrong?
I think it's down at the bottom of there.
No, I'm in the wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Okay, so if we look at this link now, sorry about that. Then we'll click on trip information and documents. There you go. You'll see the map right here, and they can one click download that. So just a great way to really service your clients. And of course, right at the top here, they always have ways to get in touch with you should anything come up. One of the third ways that they have to present the itineraries to your client is through the Travefy app. And I'm going to have Stephanie just touch on that a little bit more because she can go into a lot more detail than I can here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks for walking through that. It's so cool. Makes me want to be in Disney right now. It looks a lot of fun. But yeah, so those are the different ways that you can share with your clients via, that URL link or the PDF. But we do have a mobile app. This mobile app is awesome. It's called the Trip Plans app. And this app is completely unbranded. So when I say that, what I mean is there's no Travefy logo on here. And that's also why we call it Trip Plans, because we do not want your client to know that we exist. We only want them to know you exist. So that's why your logo is the one and your contact information is what shows on that app. So when they download this app, they can download it for iOS or Android. Here's what it looks like for iOS, this screenshot right here. When they first open up their itinerary, they will be able to tap into the day, and they'll tap into the day that they want to look at. And then they can scroll through, see all that information you've added. So kind of like everything Steven showed, you can tap on, one of the resorts and get the phone number or the website or look it up on the map, things like that. Another great thing about this is that there is the option to view this offline. So if your client, especially on a cruise or something, and they find themselves, without using data or without Wi-Fi, they can still access their itinerary on their mobile app. And then there's also a messaging component. So it's a great way for you and your client to stay in touch with each other. So if they have any questions, they can message you directly through this app just by tapping on the little thought bubble icon up there. They can send you a message, and then you can respond and receive it 2 different ways. The first way is via your mobile app. So you get to download your own mobile app, which is called Travefy Pro, and this allows you to view all of your client itineraries on the go. And you can also respond back to any messages that they send. So that way, if you're out and about, you can just respond back directly from your phone. You can also respond back on the trip itinerary. Let me go back in there. There we go. So behind that library, like Steven was showing you, you can go to discussion. And this discussion, you can view the entire thread here. And you can also type messages back to them. So this is great. If they have an itinerary change that needs to be made, or you want to add something and they're on their trip, you could actually just do that in there and then let them know in a message, all in one platform. So that's what's really cool about that as well. All the different ways that you need to send it is really nice there too. And so I'm wondering, is there anything else, Steven, that you want to touch on, or should we move it into Q&A? Oh, I think you might be muted.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yep, can hear you.
Yes. Okay. I don't think at this point that I had anything else specifically touch on, but I would definitely love to take any questions that you guys have.
Yeah, and you can ask any of those questions. There's a chat box provided. If you scroll your mouse towards the middle top of the screen, I'm going to type in there, so hopefully this pops up for you. So feel free to ask any questions in there. In case someone needs to get going, I will be sending an email follow-up after this, and it'll have all the information, including a recorded link, so you can view it again, share it with any fellow friends if you'd like as well. And then I also want to share what to do next. We do offer a free trial, and it's really easy to get started, so I highly suggest going up and signing up for it. You just want to go to travefy.com/pro. What you're seeing right here. And then you can just press Start Free Trial, put in your name, email, create a password, and you're off. You'll get to use every feature and all that good stuff. And it's set, we do have a question in here. I missed the name of the app the clients would download. So it is the Trip Plans app. Let me go back. So there's the Travefy Pro app, which is yours, and here's the Trip Plans app, which they download. And it would have your logo. So it doesn't have your logo on the icon. It has your logo on here. So it's essentially when they open the itinerary, they'll see your logo, but they won't see any other logo. So you don't have to compete or confuse them, which is very nice. Another question here. Is there an example of a quote with multiple Disney hotels on it? I don't personally have one. Steven, do you have one?
If you want to throw the presenter over to me, I can just build one really quick on the fly and show how that would work.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm going to pass that over. Okay. And while you're setting that up, I'll answer this other question here. I currently provide an itinerary for clients with all meet and greets and show times, since it's not specific time and more of just times guide reference for the trip where you suggest we put this information. Steven, I'll actually let you answer that because that is more in your realm.
Sure. So. Well, let me do the multiple hotel first. So here, my default template, the way that I have it set up, is just showing people checking into one hotel. Now, if you were going to do a split stay or something like that, so say a client starts at Polynesian and then they're going to check out, let's see, they'll check out of Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. If I could spell, that would be wonderful. And then we're going to want them to check in to say then they're going to spend a night at, let's say, Art of Animation. And when you click down here, this is where you can just go ahead and punch in any information. This is actually, let's switch this over to lodging so we get the right info here. And then I can punch in your confirmation number here and give a specific check-in date or check-in time and date, and then click done. And just like that, so now you have them checking out from Polynesian and then checking into Art of Animation. It's really just as simple as that. Now, I don't have a lot of guests who do that, so I don't have my template that I just copy and reuse built that way. But you certainly could if that's something that you see a lot of people do. Oh, was it? Oh, an example of a quote, not an itinerary. Okay, so for that, what I would do is instead of using the price box up here, I would actually use the price, put the price down here. So if we're going to quote out, say, 5 or 6 different results, if we come down here and say something like, so say staying at the Polynesian would cost $3,000. If they wanted to stay at Animation, $2,000. So, and again, you can build the whole itinerary around that, showing the $3,000 per day, everything like that. Really, the only pricing variable there would be the actual resort that they are staying at. Does that make sense?
I think that made sense on there to see what they. And then how would you, so Stephen, for you, how would you put in, if you just wanted to put not specific times, but more of just a guide reference for their trip, where would you suggest putting that information?
So anything like that, I would probably tuck away here in the trip information and documents. So for example, I have some little tips and tricks sheets here. Oh, actually don't have them saved on this computer. That was a bad example. It's on my other computer. But some PDF sheets that I give with things like that, with some tips and tricks and some packing lists, things like that. And for that type of information, I tuck all of that away here in the trip information and documents. Now, if I'm giving a client this in a PDF, anything that's in this trip information and documents is not going to print because you're really just going to be attaching things here. So then I would print that separately. But then when someone goes in on the online version, they are able to pull up and view all of those PDFs or links to websites or other information that you're putting in here.
And then there was another question here. Would I send them a link with their itinerary? How would they get it after they download the app? Oh, so I can actually answer that for you. So how that works is what you would do is, Stephen, if you could go to send to clients really quick, and then email, the email option there, and then you can just send it to them here. So you'll just email them, just type in their name, email, send the email, and then they're going to receive a personalized email that looks like it's coming from you. But on this email is if you're on the Plus plan to get the mobile app, it's going to give them all the instructions on how to download that app. But it's also going to create and generate a unique code for them. So every user has their own code to access their itinerary, just for security, and then also so that way if you've invited 5 people to an itinerary, you know who's talking in the discussion. So that's how you do it. It's very simple and really easy for them to do it. So they can do it a couple ways. They want to download it their own and then type in their code, or they can just download it straight from this email and follow the instructions on there.
And like Stephanie said, the email that they get from Travefy, number one, it looks really great. So it's going to highlight this cover photo here that you upload, which For me, I just have a Disney picture that I took, but there's a whole bunch of pre-built Travefy pictures. You can search for stock photos in here, and that's nicely highlighted there. And there's really no Travefy branding. Again, driving home what Stephanie said earlier, where Travefy doesn't really want the client to know that they exist. They're really just here for us to utilize the back end of. So it's a really great benefit. And like I said, it's one that proves to be invaluable when certain Disney things don't always work as anticipated, and people still need to know what their plans are and what times.
Yeah, that's awesome. And somebody asked a good question here. Do you give all of the other info on the quote? So they don't want them to take, their own research and go book on their own. So do you have kind of a way that you prevent something like that, or do you kind of leave some information out, or do you have a certain way to handle that?
I mean, that ultimately is really your decision on the individual agent. Me personally, I don't like to give away before they've booked. So I will recommend resorts that I think are great for a specific client. But if you wanted to put in a ton of information and things like that, you most certainly could do that here. You can put it in either in the notes section for the individual resort, or you can actually come in here, you can add a new info. And the info is just really a note here that you can leave whatever. And there's no time or anything associated with the info bubble, but you can still come up here and rearrange it and put it anywhere in the flow that you would like.
Yeah, and one other thing to add on to that too is we do make it easy for you to unpublish a trip. So if you ever send out, now the only thing is if you send them a PDF, there's no way to get that back. But if you do send them the URL link or you have the mobile app, you can actually unpublish it, just like what Steven's doing right now, and you can change that visibility. That way, if you do send it out and they tell you, hey, I'm not, or, they don't end up booking it, or you give them only a day to view it, and you say, this is only going to be available for a day, so make sure you look at it right now. That is a nice way, you can unpublish it and kind of revoke access if you need to.
Yeah, and then as soon as you unpublish, so if I go back to let's do it on this one. So as soon as I go ahead and edit, unpublish, and then if I go here and refresh, so you'll see it pulls up something like this saying that the client is unable to access the itinerary at that point.
Yeah, and so that's kind of, so I saw that too. And one other question too, Judy had on this is, can you make a plan into a template, or I think unpublishing that? So yeah, so even if something's unpublished, you can still copy from it, like what Steven was doing. So even if that is unpublished, just copy it, and then you have a new link to work off of, and that way you can always send that link and just have a new one to use.
Yep, just like that. So now the new one by default is published, but if I wanted to unpublish it right away, actually it's not going to let me because I haven't sent it to my client yet, but it's usually just a one-click, really easy way to do it.
Yeah, and somebody also asked about pricing too, the cost. So how much is the annual plan, and can you make monthly payments? So yes, you can make monthly payments. You can either subscribe annual or monthly. And there's two different plans. So there's the starter and there's the plus. Starter starts at $16 a month if you want to subscribe monthly. If you want to subscribe annually, you're going to automatically save 20%. And that's not including Steven's discount of 10% also, which is great. And then plus is $39 a month, which you'll see here on the screen in a second. And that's if you go monthly, or you can subscribe annually and save it 20%, where it brings it down to $31 a month. And one thing to note too is if you do subscribe monthly, you are able to, there's no contract. You can subscribe, cancel any point. So if you have a month where you don't really need to use it, you can just cancel and then subscribe again. You can always upgrade and downgrade too. So if you start out with starter and then you have somebody traveling where you're like, man, they really should use this app, then you can just upgrade for that month. And yeah, so very flexible in pricing and all that good stuff. And for Steven's discount too, you'll get 10% off an annual, which you already get 20% off, which is great. Or you'll get 10% off for the first 6 months of your monthly subscription.
So, I mean, really just to wrap up, if it doesn't look like there's any more questions coming in. But I absolutely love using Travefy. Like I said, I've been using it for about 1.5 years here. It has made my life so much easier. I used to be using Microsoft Word to create templates. Then I switched over to trying to do some stuff in Excel. And I really just never found a way that looked nice, that was intuitive to the user, and that was flexible across multiple platforms. I had some people who want paper documents, some people who want all electronic. Travefy gives you the best of both. Right now I have a client who's traveling with her daughter, and if you could send me paper, I just want the digital version. Didn't have to do double work. I created it, easily get the PDF here as well as the web view. No double work, super easy. MailChimp templates, email service provider. So I'm not really sure how you would use that.
Yeah, I would say too on that, it's not really comparable because they're so different. They are a lot different. I love MailChimp. I think MailChimp's great for, plugging and playing and putting your templates together, things together. But the way that Travefy is set up is to be, that itinerary or that quote. So it's probably a little easier on Travefy because of what you're actually creating. It's set up for that purpose. Otherwise, I'm not sure what really the big differences would be. Probably kind of up to you, but again, Travefy makes it easy to build that itinerary and then send it. So with MailChimp, it probably lacks some of those features that we have for clients, like the mobile app and being able to unpublish something and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I use MailChimp for email marketing. I use it hand in hand with Travefy. I'm a big proponent in using the tool that's best for that job. So MailChimp does great with email. I think Travefy does great with itineraries, a heck of a lot better than I was able to do with my own or with a few other tools that I had tried to use. So.
Yeah, that's great. And we'll wait around here to see if there's any questions. Otherwise, thank you so much again, and thank you, Steven. This is great. It's so awesome to see how you're using Travefy. You really are a power user here, and it's cool that you can share it with other people. So it's really cool. And also, again, I'll share all of this information, follow up with the recorded link, and also all this information you're seeing. And then you have my contact if you have any questions and you would like to, get on a call. I know somebody said they want to call and talk to me. So feel free to reach out at any time. And we do offer training sessions, so it's not like you're just here and then good luck. We will help you along the way, which is great. But yeah, okay, we have one question here. Judy asked, if I unpublish a trip, can I still edit and reuse it? Yes.
Absolutely.
So you can still use it and do whatever you'd like with it.
And again, if you guys want to see what an actual PDF copy, what the web link looks like, if you head over to extramagictrips.com/Travefy, you'll see I have all of that information loaded on there, as well as a video of the last webinar that Stephanie and I did together. So you can take a look at all that info, plus the, thank you, Stephanie just shared that in the chat there. Plus the referral code here. So you can definitely share that. Mariah, you can share that with anyone. And then as soon as the new recording comes out, I'll be sure to update that on the page as well.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you again, Steven, and thank you, everybody. And I hope to see you on Travefy soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.